Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain how to write a report for the conducted activity or event. In this video, format of the report writing will be discussed. Example of the report writing will be shown and the supportings required to submit the report of the event are discussed. So this is the easy tutorial to learn the activity or event report writing. So let's start with the video. Now let's go for format of report writing. When you write a report of any event or activity, you need to follow some format, and that format I am going to discuss now. First, you need to write the heading of the report. Here, the name of the activity or event conducted is expected. After that, you need to mention date and day of the event. So generally, DDMMYY format is followed, that is date, month and year format. Also, you need to mention day of the event. Along with date and day, you need to mention the time of the event, that is from to time is expected here. After that, the location or venue where you have conducted the event, it is expected to write venue of the event. Then the event is organized by which department or which committee, that you have to mention under organized by. Here, department name or committee name is expected to write. After that, you need to mention the event or activity coordinator name. The person who is conducting this activity, that coordinator name is expected under event or activity coordinator. The next point is classes participated. The students from which classes have participated in this activity or event, that you have to mention under this participation point. After that, you need to mention mode of conduction of the activity. If the activity is conducted in online mode, like conduction of webinar, then here you need to mention the mode as online. If it is conducted in offline mode, then you need to mention the mode of conduction as offline. After that, in your activity, if there is any guest speaker or if any agency or company or any kind of expert is involved, then you need to mention the name of the same with designation. After that, you have to mention the objectives of the activity conduction. Why you have conducted this kind of event or activity, that you need to mention. So, 2 or 3 objectives are sufficient. The next point that you need to mention is methodology used in your activity conduction. So, by using which methodology this activity is conducted, that you need to mention here under methodology used. After that, this is the important point because it covers main content of the event. Now you need to brief the event here under this point, that is main content of the event. Now The next point that you need to mention is the participant count of the activity, under which again there are two parts, student count and staff count. Now there are three types in which you can mention the count: as a participant, as a visitor, or as attendee. If the student or staff is involved in that activity as a participant, means they have participated and actually performed something, then they are called as participants. If they have only visited the event or activity, then they are called as visitors. And if they have attended the activity as a passively they are attending activity, suppose, then they are called as attendees of the activity. So by considering these three types, it is necessary to mention the student count and staff count of the activity or event. Now, for every activity, it is expected to take feedback of that activity from students and from staff. So, it is necessary to mention the feedback of activity. As a summary, you can mention the feedback. After that, you can do its analysis also. So, it is called as feedback analysis. Now, the last point is learning outcome. We are conducting different types of activities or events in order to have some outcome, and that is called as learning outcome. So what students exactly learn from the activity, that is very important, and under this learning outcome point you have to mention the outcome of the activity. You have to brief the learning outcome under this point. Now we will discuss example of report writing of one of the activity. As I told you, you need to first mention heading of the report. Now, the competition name or activity name that I have conducted, that I have to mention as a heading of the report. So let's take this example. Suppose I have arranged poster presentation competition on some topic. Then I need to mention heading of the report as poster presentation competition on recent trends in IT. So suppose this is the competition organized by me, then I have to mention the competition name as a heading of the report. Now the first point is you need to mention date and day of the event. Here I have mentioned today's date and day. Now suppose this competition was conducted for 2 hours from 9:30 am to 11:30 am, that I need to mention. After that, venue I need to mention. So here suppose that competition was conducted in smart classroom. So along with floor number I have mentioned here. After that, organized by department. So suppose this is organized by, for example, XYZ department, you need to mention the name of the department over there. If it is conducted by some committee or cell, then you can mention that particular committee name or cell name. Then there is a need to mention the coordinator name, that is activity coordinator name. Suppose it is XYZ. So here the staff member name you need to mention. Suppose in my activity the students of SY and TY BSc Computer Science have participated, then I need to mention under classes participated SY BSc CS and TY BSc CS. After that, the mode of conduction. Suppose my activity was conducted in offline mode, then I have to mention the mode as a offline. If any guest speaker or agency is involved, then I need to write the name of the same, suppose XYZ, and designation of that particular person. You need to mention under bracket. Suppose my competition was judged by some guest, then I need to mention here name of the guest and designation of the guest. Now, the next point is you need to mention the objectives for the conduction of that particular activity. Now, this poster presentation competition was conducted because to gain the knowledge about recent trends and technologies in IT. The second objective was to improve the presentation skills and to impart the creativity. So these are the objectives of the competition conducted. I have mentioned the objectives clearly here. Now let's go for next point, methodology used. So here all posters were made as handmade posters by all students. So that methodology was used. Therefore, it is mentioned that all posters were made handmade. So methodology used in that particular activity is handmade posters. So these handmade posters were judged by the judge. Now, here the main content of the event is briefed. The content that I have mentioned is total, suppose 129 students made and presented their posters. So these posters were presented individually. Therefore, in bracket, the word individually is mentioned. Posters were judged by guest or judge, for example, XYZ, on the basis of creativity, clarity of the poster, content covered, and presentation skills. So this is how I have mentioned the important main content of the event. How many students have made posters, how they have presented, the posters have judged by whom, and what was the criteria of judging. That I have mentioned here. And lastly, it was a competition and therefore it is necessary to mention the winners of that competition. So I have mentioned 3 names for as a 3 winners. So this is one of the example of main content of the event. Now let's go for next point. Student count. So as I already explained, you need to mention the count of students and staff for your activity. So here I have made one table which is clearly showing the student count as a participant or visitor or attendee. So here suppose 48 male students and 81 female students have participated, then total participants become 129. Suppose 91 male students and 102 female students have visited this competition, then total count becomes 193. So in my competition, that is poster presentation competition, some students have participated and some students have only visited the competition, and therefore I have used participant row and visitors row. There is no attendee for the same, and therefore I have mentioned that as a not applicable NA. Like this, you need to mention the staff count as well. Here Under staff, only visitors row I will use because staff have visited this poster presentation competition. So under participant and attendee, I have to write NA, not applicable. And under visitors, the male staff visited are 5 suppose and female staff 22. So total 27 staff have visited this poster presentation competition. So this count is very important and it is categorized as participant, visitor or attendee. So this is also classified as male and female. Now let's go for next point. Feedback. So for the activity that you have arranged, you need to take feedback of the same from students and staff, and you need to make summary of the feedbacks collected, which is also called as feedback analysis. And here I have summarized my feedback as: students suggested to arrange one more poster presentation competition at inter-department level. So many of students have given this feedback and therefore it is taken into account that to arrange the one more poster presentation competition at inter-department level. So this is the feedback of the activity conducted. Now the last point that you have to mention is learning outcome. So what is the outcome of the activity conducted? That is very important. So the first outcome that I got is visitors gain the idea of recent trends and technologies of IT. So recent trends and technologies of IT was the topic given for poster presentation competition, and because of that the visitors gain the knowledge about the same. The second output that I got is students showcased their creativity and confidence level, and because of this competition their confidence level improved. So this is the learning outcome we can say for the poster presentation competition. So this is how you can mention the different points under report writing of the activity or event. Now let's go for supportings required for the documentation of event or activity report. Now, as a supporting of event report, it is necessary to submit the attendance sheet of that event, then photos of the event, notice of the event, feedback collected from the students and staff and its analysis. If there is a news clip with details, you can mention as a supporting, and the winner list you need to mention, or you can mention in report if it is applicable to your activity or event. So this is how you can make the standard report of the activity or event conducted. So in this video I have mentioned the format of the report writing, one example of the report writing, and the supportings required for the documentation of the event report or activity report. Thank you for watching my video.